Okay, and we are live. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Hope everyone has had a good Monday and a pretty good weekend as well. Welcome back to the channel. Let's get into the Manchester United news. So first and foremost, we want to get talking about Sir Jim Ratcliffe. As we know, set to be buying into Manchester United. Finer details of that deal still being agreed, but everything's pretty much in place for Sir Jim basically to come in as a minority owner of Manchester United, 25% as we well know, but that will come with a lot of sporting control. And one of the first things we're seeing from Sir Jim and his rumoured buy-in of Manchester United, it's going to be a new sporting director. It's going to be a new guy calling the shots, and that guy is looking like it's going to be Paul Mitchell. Paul Mitchell coming into Manchester United, not really too much of a surprise. He has just finished up at AS Monaco, so it's no real surprise that we're seeing him linked. Of course, moving back into the Manchester area, things are lining up well for Paul Mitchell to come in. So I'm excited about this, guys. I think Paul Mitchell is the kind of guy we need to be bringing in to Manchester United. Look, we've complained for a long time on this channel that the board of directors and the guys calling the shots really are completely out of their depth. Paul Mitchell is a guy who comes in with real pedigree, real expertise, and a real background in getting the best out of a lot of players who went under the radar. Looking at his work, Southampton, bringing in the likes of Virgil van Dijk, Sadio Mane, players like that. Moving on to Tottenham, of course, as well, bringing a lot of good players for that Pochettino team. Then he was at AS Monaco as well. Just a quick look at some of the long players he has brought in over his career so far, and he's only 42 years old. Of course, we have Sadio Mane, we have Heung-min Son, Toby Alderweireld. At the Leipzig group, he brought in Dani Olmo, of course, Deo Upamecano, Patrick Schick, players like this, Mbolo. Um, so many players as well. Mateus Cunha is another example of another player he's brought in. So Paul Mitchell's the kind of guy we want to be making footballing decisions. We've complained a long time, and like we said pretty much during the week last week, that even if we give a lot of money to someone like John Murtoughs or to Richard Arnold, do we back them to do a better job? I don't know. Who else have we got down below? Sadiq is saying Sir Jim is another Glazer. Look, it's hard to argue these points when he's buying in with the Glazer family. You know, that's really difficult for him to escape that sort of reputation and that sort of tagline being associated. And at the minute, look, we have to agree with that. Do I think he's going to be as bad as the Glazer family? I don't. I don't think he's going to be as bad, but certainly it's not going good for his PR sort of stuff. Daniel's in the comments. Good to see you, man. This is going to get done next board meeting. When will he get director of football in? Will that be January? Nothing wrong with making money when doing the wrong things or having a director of football. And yeah, completely agree. I think as well, look, if we want to be making these big calls to the club, these big changes, something we need to be doing absolutely is bringing better people in. Because, like I said, if we give Richard Arnold £1 billion with John Murtoughs to go and improve this team, do we really think they're going to do it? I don't think so. I really don't. Rajat says, we'll give Sir Jim the backing. Yeah, look, absolutely. Look, I think Paul Mitchell's the kind of guy we need to be bringing in. I'm excited about the prospects of him coming in. Someone I would have liked to have seen come in originally. Of course, there was talks that it might be Ralph Rangnick, and Paul Mitchell coming in towards the end of not last season, but the season after. Obviously, things went badly with Rangnick. He left the club. Paul Mitchell went to Monaco, and that was pretty much that. But now things are coming back in. He is the preferred guy. Big talk as well about Michael Edwards, another transfer guru, if we want to call him that. I wouldn't mind bringing him in either. Certainly for me, bringing these caliber of sporting directors and guys in to make the big calls, it's going to make such a difference. And it's as much having the right people behind the manager than it is having the right players in front of him as well. If we get these guys in, I think we will be in a much better place, and we will be getting these players who we really should have been signing all along. The likes of the Bellinghams of this world, the Enzo Fernandez, the Julian Alvarez springs to mind, Moses Caicedo, players like this who would have come in for relatively cheap and made a big impact, and look at what they're doing now. These are the players we've missed out on for far too long as well. Look, guys, we're asking about tomorrow's match as well, so make sure to join me in for the watch along tomorrow night. But of course, Manchester United playing Copenhagen tomorrow. Let me know your thoughts on that one. win, loss, draw. Get your predictions in down below. And of course, we will go through Erik Ten Hag's press conference as well. But Ten Hag's got some big calls to make, in all fairness, ahead of tomorrow's match. One of them is going to be Sergio Reguilon. Thankfully, he is back now from injury, and I think that's a really positive thing. Having a left back is going to make such a difference to this team. Honestly, playing Victor Lindelof there has really, really hampered Manchester United going forward and playing out of the back. So I'm happy to see Reguilon coming back. It's good to see him as well, coming back in. Ideally, we get the likes of Luke Shaw back pretty soon as well. Footballing is saying as well, going to be an interesting game tomorrow. It will be for sure. We got to turn up and we have to put a performance in. Look, in the last two matches, United have won both matches, but we've played really, really poorly in both those matches. I don't think anyone is going to say that we're going to have be happy with the level of performance. I'm sure Erik Ten Hag is not happy either. But hopefully tomorrow we can build upon something. If we're winning matches, it's going to count for something. I think the level of performance really, really can improve in this team, and I think that's maybe a positive. I feel like we know that we're playing far beneath ourselves, that we can be a lot better than what we have been so far this season. I think that maybe is a small positive that we're underperforming, because if this was the level of this team, that would be a far bigger concern as well. Look, if this was genuinely as good as we could play, then I think we would be in a lot of trouble as well. Look, there's an article that came out from The Sun. I think we can completely ignore this as well. There's no way Paul Mitchell is going to go to Saudi Arabia. I'd be absolutely stunned if that was the case. It seems all lined up for him to come in to Manchester United and be Jim Radcliffe's guy. Look, as we know, Radcliffe's bid, a lot of this is contingent on the kind of sporting control, on having that control over the footballing side of the operations. And I think bringing someone like Paul Mitchell in makes so much sense in light of everything that's going on at Manchester United. And I think it's nothing but a good thing. I really honestly do believe that if we do bring in Paul Mitchell, we bring in the likes of Michael Edwards, we bring in Jean-Claude Blanc. These are guys who've worked in football for a long time, have a proven track record of success. And look, we want to see these guys coming in. We've been saying for a long time, best in class. We want to see the best directors. We want to see the best scouts, the best CEOs running our football club, and hopefully that means we can start to move towards that. How much control Jim's gonna have, I don't know. I guess we'll find a lot of these details out in the next couple of weeks. Look, it's gonna be an interesting time for Manchester United fans. Stephanie's in the comments. It's good to see you, Stephanie. Hope all is good. And yeah, guys, we're up to 12 likes already. Big ups to everyone as well for dropping the likes. If you guys haven't already, only takes 1 second. Make sure you're hitting that like button. Really helps the stream out. So I'm happy with Paul Mitchell. Look, are we happy with this Radcliffe deal at the moment? I mean, it's kind of sinking in more and more that this is how we're going to go. I've watched some interesting videos. I think United People's TV have done some really good content on this. So would expect the likes of Brailsford coming in as well. They're going to come in with their own ideas, and they're going to audit everyone at Manchester United. But look, I think this is the kind of stuff we need to see. It'll be a hard reset button behind the scenes. I'm sure it'll be a reset button from the playing side. Do I think Ten Hag's in danger? I don't know. I think that's an interesting one. I would flip that question back to you as well. Do you think Erik Ten Hag might be in danger of losing his job if we lose the next couple of matches? Let me know your thoughts on that one down below. Obviously, the links to Graham Potter were out there over the weekend. I think we can ignore Graham Potter. I don't think he will be coming into Manchester United at all. But I think Radcliffe's the kind of guy who will take a look at it, and he'll want to have the right people making those calls. According to Ben Jacobs, he is the leading candidate to become the next sporting director. Ben Jacobs has also said Paul Mitchell is the leading candidate to become sporting director under Sir Jim Radcliffe, having first been approached in March, long before talks advanced. INEOS have looked at several candidates already. Mitchell has also been considered for Nice before as well. Mitchell would like a return to the Premier League. He has been exploring options. Last summer, Chelsea was another role he was interested in. Dan Ashworth is another name discussed by INEOS, but he has made it clear he's happy at Newcastle. So it's good to see INEOS have got the ball rolling behind the scenes. And I think most people would have. I'm positive the Qataris would have been doing the same, looking and headhunting people ahead of time. I think that's something they definitely would have done. Who else have we got in the comments? Rajat saying get 30%. Greg is done there, praying for better performance. I think we'll win tomorrow, but I hope we win with a bit of style at Old Trafford on Sunday at the Stretford end. Hopefully, as well, we'll level up the performance. Rajat says, I'm never going to watch a game until Glazers leave. Doesn't look like we're going to be watching too many matches for the foreseeable then, Rajat. Unfortunately, man, look, I wish it was a case that these guys were going as soon as possible, but we're still going to be stuck with them, and they're going to be here for the foreseeable. That is, of course, the single biggest negative against Sir Jim, that the Glazer family staying, and it's going to be something that's really going to taint the early part of his reign at Manchester United. If he eventually comes in and buys over the whole club, maybe then you're talking, yeah, look, that's better, but I think Radcliffe will always struggle to beat those allegations, even if things are going well. Look, at the moment, I think it's really easy to go against Radcliffe and go against the ownership and stuff, because the results have been shocking, performances have been shocking. But I guess we're going to find out. Le Mans is down below. We'll only realise the damage Jim has done to us and our football club in decades to come. Yeah, look, I've said it before. I will definitely say it again as well, man. Look, things can go one way or another. It'll either be really good or really bad. It might be one of the best things to happen to this football club in a long, long time, or it might be one of the worst. I guess we're just going to have to wait and find out and see what the future holds. At least we know at this point that Radcliffe's over. I think the torturous sales process is something that will live long in the memory of all Manchester United fans. It's not going to be a time we look back at overly fondly, but look, if Radcliffe comes in, he takes over, he gets the Glazers out eventually, and results pick up, we're more competitive on the pitch, I think that's a good thing. I do. Do I think it's going to cause damage down the line? We're going to have to find out on that one. I think it'll definitely do damage to the reputation he's got as well. Daniel says he needs 4 to 5 years. See what happens. Yeah, look, that's unfortunate. I think a lot of fans, we want that immediate success. We've always wanted it. We've always craved it. And certainly for me, I don't know if it's realistic at this point. I really don't. I think this in the last couple of years, I think there's been a big shift at Manchester United from our fan base, from those around the club. I think we've kind of gone from being in a position where we're looking at the team and saying, yeah, look, these guys, we need new centre backs, we need new strikers, new midfielders. Maybe that would solve the issue. Or maybe looking at the manager saying maybe Mourinho wasn't the right guy, or Van Gaal, or Ollie, or even Ten Hag. I think that it will take a long time for this team to be back competing for the massive honours. And will that era of dominance ever really come back? I don't know. I really don't, because obviously, look, we've got Man City. Man City are probably the best team in the world. Even though their form might not suggest it, that's probably the level they're at now. I think Newcastle United's a team with that Saudi ownership. They're going to be able to do a lot. And they will be so competitive in years to come. Really will be. Then you look at the likes of Arsenal. Arsenal have not a lot of money if we compare it to City, we compare it to Newcastle, what they can do. But what Arsenal have is a really good team, and a really good young team that's going to be here for a long time. The likes of Saka, Martinelli, Declan Rice, Jesus, Saliba, all these players will be at Arsenal for a long time unless they sell. Liverpool, they're always going to be a threat. Chelsea with this top bully money is going to be a threat. We can see Tottenham doing well now. How sustained that's going to be, I don't know yet. Again, we're going to have to find out in that one, but this is probably the most competitive the Premier League's ever been in terms of genuine quality teams in there. And at the minute, Manchester United are struggling on the pitch, and we are lagging far, far behind off the pitch. So I think Jim coming in with 25% is going to level that up. I don't. I really don't. Do I think if he gets 100% ownership and can put all that INEOS money into the club, do I think that's going to make a difference? Probably does. But until things change behind the scenes, things will not change from what we see on the pitch, in my opinion. I think a big cultural reset is needed as well at this football club. I think looking at the actions of the players, the way they play on the pitch, the attitudes they genuinely have off the pitch, a lot of that's so ingrained in Manchester United. And these aren't bad players before we sign them. And they don't just turn bad at Manchester United. There's something else driving that as well, because we've spent so much money, brought in really good players, and time after time, it's going wrong for us. I think a hard reset button is needed from top to bottom. I think it's the environment at the club. Maybe it's something in the air at Old Trafford, but it tends to breed these poor results and swings and roundabouts, and players eventually not playing for the manager, or things going wrong on the pitch after going well the season before. We can't sustain anything. We really can't. I think the longest period of what we would call sustained quality at United probably came under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, finishing fourth, third, and second. But then look how that ended. That's another example of United not being able to sustain this. City have been doing this now for 12 years. They've had a sustained success in the league. Liverpool have been up there since Klopp really got a hold of that team and really made it into his own team. It's a concern for me. It is. And I think until the Glazers are fully gone, this club might not go as far as where we want it to go. Look, there's lots of comments coming in. Let me see what you guys are saying down below. Greg says, I wouldn't be able to go to a game with the Glazers in charge, but my love for football goes beyond, and going to Old Trafford Sunday for the derby. Part of me feels bad for going. Look, I wouldn't feel bad for going, Greg. And look, I will say this absolutely to you. When Manchester United played Galatasaray, 2,000 Galatasaray fans were sold tickets in the home end. And they were sold for around £400 to £500 a ticket. So they make more money by selling to away fans than they do to guys with season tickets or people who would normally go to the matches. So I wouldn't feel too bad about that whatsoever. You're probably costing them money in the long run. Rashad is saying, would rather watch a Classico game this weekend. Look, that'll be a fun one as well. I might have a look at the time. Maybe we'll do a watch along as well for it. It could be some fun, seeing some genuine quality on the pitch as well. Now you see Tom is down there. You don't go to a council estate, 20 billion, without knowing what you're doing and being a control freak. Qatar would not be an instant success without mercenary signings. I would agree with that as well. Regardless, the big red button needs to be hit, and a lot of things need to change. I think Jim's getting his foot in the door. Would I like him to have more control? Absolutely. If he was coming in, look, I don't think for a second one Manchester United fan we're going to say, look, what we want is minority ownership. I think a lot of us probably would have took Radcliffe being the majority shareholder if that was how it worked out, with if the Qataris weren't involved. I think Qatar managed to sell a lot of people a dream. Ultimately, they didn't deliver on it. Ultimately, they pulled out for whatever reason. All will be revealed. Make no mistake about it. We've seen little pieces of the story, but the full picture hasn't been painted yet on that one yet. Sniper Pat said we got the result yesterday, but God, it was hard to watch. We were sad. Sunday will be carnage. City will run through us. Liman says, what then happened last Thursday when everyone said it's an important day? Meeting of the board, I think. Yeah, look, that didn't go through. Ultimately, the fine details of the deal weren't ready in time. I think that kind of relates to the statement we seen last week from Radcliffe. Radcliffe's statement, I think it was United Stand managed to pick it up. What they basically had said was they don't want to go in yet until they have an effective measure of control, until they're really able to control things. That's not how Jim likes to work, apparently. What happens? I don't know. I guess we're gonna have to wait and find out. It will be interesting. Look, there'll be public announcements. I think there might actually be an INEOS earnings call as well today, so maybe some details will come out on that one. So make sure to keep an eye out for that. Rajat says, will Reguilon play the next game? According to Ten Hag, he is back and ready. So hopefully. Footballing says support the team. Absolutely. Malp says, you're just funding the Glazers going to the game. Look, yeah, look, it's one of those things. It's you're basically damned if you do and damned if you don't. It's like if you go to the match, it could be the equivalent of paying £100 for a ticket. If you don't go to a match and season ticket holders don't turn up, then all of a sudden they're getting £500 for a ticket, selling it to somebody else who wants to go. selling it directly through the club. Look, you could go on to Manchester United ticket office right now. Look at the prices. They genuinely are scandalous. I will actually pull some of these up as well. Let me just pull up some of these as well. Because some of the prices that we do see is genuinely shocking as well. And that's where they make a lot of money as well. Rajat says, give him a chance. We talking about Jim there, are we? I'm not 100% sure. Let me see. I'll check these match tickets here because some of the prices are genuinely ridiculous. Like if we want to buy tickets tomorrow is sold out. We want to buy City. If I click buy now, let me just see. These are just for regular tickets. Let me see. I'll pick, what's this here one? This is for M3401. So this is pretty much the second highest quarter in Old Trafford in the Sir Alex Ferguson stand. So pretty much you're near the back of Old Trafford. For a single ticket is £445. That is, it is just scandalous. I'll do another one here as well. This is for East Stand. They're charging £395 for the very back row, and that's the concession price for under 16 or over 65. So look, these guys are making an absolute killing out of this, whether we go to matches or not. I don't think we should be attacking the match-going fans as much. Let me see. Melps is saying we'll never see the glory days like under Sir Alex. I don't think so either. I don't think we're going to see those days come back, and that's unfortunate. Do I think we can compete for honours and win league titles? Absolutely, I do. We have to believe that. I absolutely think Manchester United can and will win another league title within our lifetimes. I don't think we're going to go 30 years without a title. I think if Glazers are gone and we genuinely see some good ownership, it could happen in 5 years. But a lot has to happen between now and then. A lot does have to happen between now and then. Do I think we'll have a sustained period like Man City where it's basically City win the league or the next best team do? I don't think we get to that level, but I think we can compete. I absolutely think we can go on compete. And I want us to get back to those Ferguson days. That's what I grew up with as a child. That's when I first started supporting the club, around about 2004. So obviously we had the 06, 07, 08, 09, 07, 08 as well, Champions League winners. We were basically a point or two away from winning 7 league titles in the bounce, with 2 Champions League finals in there as well. That's what we're trying to get back to. That's what we want to see. Does Jim Radcliffe bring us that immediately? Absolutely no, he doesn't. He does not with the Glazer family here, not with what they want to do as well. Does he do it with full ownership? That's the question. That's the question. I think some of the big things need to happen. Obviously, bringing in a guy like Paul Mitchell is going to really help us. Will Paul Mitchell be signing Manchester United ready-made superstars who are going to come in instantly and score 35 goals a season, or come in and be in the Premier League team of the season in their first year? No, he's not. Will he bring in players who we can mould and improve into genuine world-class players? That's what I think he's coming in for. Let me see. Rajat is down there. It says it's a rip-off. Maybe by 2030 he'll be 50. Thankfully, by 2030, I don't even want to know what age I'll be by then. 32. Pretty depressing. Tom is down there. I believe it's going to be a decade, probably at least. Hopefully it's not, man. Hopefully it's not. I genuinely do think we can come back and compete. I do, because look, does it take a lot to compete for the Premier League? Yeah, you have to be good across 30 league matches. You have to be nigh on perfect to beat Man City. Look, Man City haven't had a good start to this year, but Man City will clear 85 points this season, guaranteed. So already you're looking at having to get a points tally that will already have won most of the Premier Leagues before this. It's just such a high level, and City can go on a run. We've seen it last year and win pretty much every match from January. What do we have to do to improve upon that? We got to just keep on improving behind the scenes. We've got to bring the right people in, spend the money when we get it. Like Manchester United, we're not paupers. We will have 150 million pounds a season we can spend. Giving that money to someone like a Paul Mitchell is going to make a much bigger difference than giving it to John Murtoughs. That much is a given. Like, it really is. Who else we got down below? eFootball is down there. Imagine the prices would be if we were winning. Yeah, look, they would probably be even higher. They really would be. And look, those ticket prices there are for Manchester Derby. Maybe it's because it's a Derby match. Let me pick a smaller match. Tell you what, Manchester United versus Luton Town. We'll do an interesting comparison here. So let's see. So there's some in the Upper East Stand at the very back, and they're selling for £340 a ticket to watch Manchester United play Luton Town. This is a Glazer run football club. Like, this is what it's about. Make no mistake about it. He also got down below, Malps is missing the glory days. Yeah, look, it's one of those things. It hurts more when we had it and we lost it. That's genuinely the thing. And I would even say this: if we go back to where Manchester United were 10 years ago, it was a team on the decline, but at that point we were better suited and better equipped to go and challenge for titles again than any other team in the league. We were above Chelsea, we were above City at the time, we were well above Liverpool, above Arsenal, above Tottenham. All those teams, we were a long way ahead of them every single week, every single year. Was Man City winning league titles inevitable? Probably, in hindsight, looking at the team they were building with the Yaya Toures, the Silvas, the Vincent Kompanies, the Agueros. Could a team mainly comprised of older Manchester United players on the back end of their career really compete with that long term? Probably not. But we could have brought some good young players in at the time who would have made a big difference across that 10-year span. We really could have, but we didn't. First season, that was one of the most damaging in Manchester United history, letting a lot of the best players in our history leave and retire from Manchester United and bringing in Juan Mata, who was a likeable signing, but let's not pretend Juan Mata got to those Chelsea levels at United, and Marwan Fellaini. This is kind of what we did. Do I think Radcliffe comes in, bring Paul Mitchell in, and gets it right first time around? I don't think so. I wouldn't expect us to win a league title next year. I wouldn't. And I think it was actually Goldbridge was doing a video on his channel, and he made a really good point. If Jim Ratcliffe buys over Manchester United within 2 to 3 years, he basically has 3 summer transfer windows to try to compete in under his full ownership from the get-go. He basically has that much. Can we win a league title this year? No. Do we win a league title next year? I would be surprised. I really would be. Can we win it the year after? We probably can compete, but everything has to go right. With the guys in charge at the moment, we have no chance. Like, fundamentally, we have literally no opportunity. Be it John Murtoughs, be it Darren Fletcher's, be it Richard Arnold's, these sort of guys. As bad as the Glazer family are, these are the guys running the club on their terms and making the Glazers happy as well. So we got to get rid of them first. That's got to be one of the first port of calls. If we're going to invest money, let's at least give it to people who know what they're doing. It's one of those things. It's like, if you want £1 million, if you won the lottery, would you go to a financial advisor or would you go to the guys who run the corner shop? You would go to the financial advisor. You go to the qualified people. That's what we got to be doing. Big T's in the comments. Good to see you, man. Hope all's good. He also got down below as well. Football saying it's a slight joy, but there are teams now that have money and will take points off City. There are as well. Leman is saying, Red Devil like you. What are you? Leman's just on the troll as well. Gotta love it as well. He also got down below. Ronnie is down there in one of the newspapers. Sir Jim down the club. They say he's going to borrow the money. What does that mean? Only more debt? It's one of those things. It probably wouldn't be Manchester United debt then. It could be Radcliffe's or INEOS' own debt. That's probably not too much to be concerned about at this moment in time. We haven't seen the details that have emerged yet, so keep an eye out for them when they drop inevitably. Tom says Mitchell had good results 5 years ago. Look at Brighton. They use computer science and watch an AI, watch Belba and Brighton. He is a replacement for Caicedo and he's immense against Liverpool. Yeah, look, I'm positive Mitchell's using the latest stuff as well. Look, is it going to be a fix-all strategy? No, it's not. It's not like someone like Paul Mitchell or Michael Edwards or any of these transfer gurus, any of these guys who unearth all this brilliant young talent. They're only as good as the power you give them. If you bring them in and you basically say, yeah, look, you're in your sporting director, but you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, you can't sign him, you have to sign a certain age, a certain profile for a certain amount, you're probably not going to get the results like you would do giving these people the freedom to run the club. You're probably not going to get that. I would like to think that if he's coming in, it's going to be with the authority to implement what Radcliffe wants to see at the club. So hopefully we will get to that point. But a lot needs to happen between now and then as well. So look, I'm going to have a quick run through the match tomorrow. Obviously, Manchester United versus Copenhagen. Looking forward to it. Going to be a watch along on the channel for that one as well. So Ten Hag, first and foremost, Sergio Reguilon will be back for tomorrow's match. He says Reguilon has trained all week. Today he will train, and then we will assess if he is fit or not and can be available in tomorrow's team. He had said as well, talking about Sir Bobby Charlton, something we do want to be talking about as well. Of course, Sir Bobby Charlton passed away over the weekend. Really sad news. One of the all-time greats for Manchester United, on and off the pitch, really did encapsulate everything that this club should be about. Ten Hag spoke about that when he said, "We are professionals, it's our jobs, but there definitely is emotions as well. We need to use it to our advantage." Diogo Dalot, speaking on Sir Bobby as well, said it's a great privilege when you look at Sir Bobby and all of his goals that he did score. I was lucky enough to know him. He was always there after the game. He represented the level of the club. Legends like him won the biggest honours in football and made the biggest impact off the pitch. We have to follow that. So yeah, look, we gotta be putting in a shift tomorrow night. Not even just for Sir Bobby as well, just because it is Man United playing Copenhagen. Hopefully, it will be an added incentive. It'll be an emotional night at Old Trafford, of course. Ten Hag did speak as well on tomorrow's match, saying mandatory victory. We have to win every game. If you lose the first two matches, you absolutely have to win the third. So we got to make that bounce back. We got to make that all count for something, and we got to have a good shift tomorrow, a good performance. Who else have we got down below? Malps is saying Richard Arnold loves to be first in the boardroom with the buffet. Yeah, look, that did come out on Twitter for anyone who didn't see it. Very, very funny stuff as well. A lot of people actually fell for it as well until they read the finer details. Although it is interesting, if we actually look at it, there's a phone number listed for Kath as well. So I don't know whose number that is. I'm positive they probably got quite a lot of calls at the weekend. Ten Hag as well, speaking about Christian Eriksen, says takes place in his matches. We can see the importance when he's on the pitch. He's a big influence creatively, and he's a fantastic player, very important. But there's so much competition in midfield that it's hard to play everybody all of the time. So I think tomorrow's going to be an interesting match. I'm looking forward to it. One player I do want to talk about, because he's been getting quite a bit of stick for some reason, and that's Rasmus Hojlund. So Ten Hag talking on Hojlund today. As soon as he arrived, he brought a lot to the team. When the automatisms are better, I don't really know what that means. He will have more time to make better decisions and score more goals. He's a player to score on our team. I'm absolutely going to defend Rasmus Hojlund to the hills. Look, I don't really care if he hasn't scored in the Premier League. I think when we watch him, we can see what he brings to the team. I think when we look at what he does on and off the pitch, on the pitch for the team, on and off the ball, he offers so much to this team. Would I like him to have scored by now? Yeah, of course I would have. But Rasmus Hojlund is a guy getting in those positions to score those goals. He is a guy making those opportunities for himself. If he had better service, he definitely would have scored more goals. But I would be more concerned if he wasn't involved. I would be more concerned if he didn't look like a threat every time he gets the ball near the penalty box. Can he improve? Yeah, but I have no doubts whatsoever talking about Rasmus Hojlund. I would expect him to score tomorrow night, and hopefully he can get his first goal against City in the derby. Look, I would have loved for him to score at the weekend. He probably already has scored in the league, but it's been took off us. I think the Brighton one is one instance where that did happen. These comments are coming in down below. Let me have a quick look at this. Rosette says John Murtoughs loves a kick round when they dine with the team. Did I see Onana's drama when Sheffield got the penalty? He was so close to a yellow card. Yeah, look, I don't mind that too much either. The man, look, I don't mind a bit of passion in these players. I mean, for a long time, we've been complaining about no passion, just mercenaries, they don't care. So I don't mind too much. I really don't mind too much about that. Big T says Arnold is the reason Martial can't keep fit. He can't get the calories. Arnold eats some crumbs. Oh, dear. Oh, guys. You guys always make me laugh as well, honestly. But yeah, look, Martial's an interesting one. Ten Hag did actually allude that we might have a change in system. He did see that. He said Martial and Hojlund can definitely play together in a front two. So Do we see a 4-4-2 tomorrow? Do we change things up against Copenhagen? I don't know. Maybe we go with a 3 at the back against City. Something like that could be a different twist. Let me see what we got down below. Malps is saying RP Sir Bobby, same on those City fans what they did. Yeah, look, absolutely horrific as well. Singing about and mocking Sir Bobby Charlton for being dead, of course, passing away. Look, that is just so. It's just wrong on so many levels. Look, even if you're not a United fan, what Sir Bobby Charlton did for English football, I don't think he deserves any disrespect from anybody. He's one of those players from the World Cup winning team, of course, in '66. So yeah, I mean, like that. It's just not acceptable either. It really isn't. Malp says we better beat those Vikings tomorrow. Absolutely, man. I hope we put some goals past them. It will be an interesting match for Hojlund as well. I think his brothers are playing for Copenhagen, so that's going to be an interesting one for him personally. I hope he gets the best of his brothers. I think Mount starts tomorrow. Yeah, I think Mount does start. I do, I do, I do think absolutely he'll start as well. Big T says Hojlund has missed 6 big chances. McTominay outscoring him. He gets in positions, but is he physical enough for Prem? Yeah, look, I mean, Hojlund's definitely physical enough. He's 6'4", really quick, strong guy. Yeah, I have no concerns over Rasmus Hojlund. But I do think it's interesting, and it's actually Phil Brown. If anyone watches Phil Brown, he's sometimes on Muppeteers. He does his own stuff as well. He had actually made the point that in the last what would we call from the start of last season? Would that be around about 13, 14 months at this point? That Manchester United, Manchester United strikers have only scored 4 goals through the middle. Is that a Marcus Rashford issue? Is Marcus Rashford and his style of play hampering the strikers of Manchester United? I think it's very easy to look past it last year with 30 goals, but this year he's only got 1. And as well as that, Anthony as well on that right hand side, not creating a lot of opportunities either. I think Hojlund's one of those players, 1 big chance a match. He probably should have scored by now, but I have no concerns whatsoever about the guy. I think he's definitely going to get a lot of goals this year. We can see it in the Champions League. He'll be fine in the Premier League. I have no concerns. Big T says, fair enough. I will have a look, have my head out football today. Look, man, you're probably doing the best thing for your head as well. Thankfully, no United match tonight, so they can't ruin that as well. Let me see, what is Rajat saying? Le Mans, Rajat says no draw is pointless. Absolutely not. We'll have to beat them as well. Stefan, will Ten Hag will fans if he starts the 11 youngsters tomorrow? I think he's got to make some changes. I think I wouldn't mind seeing Garnacho start. And look, we make this point quite often. Garnacho is looked at by a lot of people and a lot of fans as being a bit of an impact player. Somebody comes in off the bench for 30 minutes and makes a difference against tired legs. Do I think Garnacho has been great this season? Probably not. Not by his standards that he set last year. But I think he needs more time on the pitch. I think Garnacho is certainly a player for me that the more you play him, the more you're going to get out of him. And fundamentally, that's how young players improve. That's how all players improve, by playing more minutes. So he's always going to be a 30-minute player if he only ever gets 30 minutes. You know, that kind of is going to hinder what he's going to do. Give him the opportunity. I think he's earned it over Rashford. I think Rashford isn't doing anything in this team that would make me say, yeah, we got to start this guy. I think Anthony's very questionable. I think when Ahmad comes back, I wouldn't mind seeing him brought in as well. I wouldn't mind seeing some young players, Le Mans. I really wouldn't. I think bring in Kobbie Mainoo whenever he's fit. I think you get a much better midfield. And I seen a good point online. It said if you think of it really, Kobbie Mainoo could be a floor raiser at Man United. Amad Diallo could be a ceiling raiser with the impact he comes in with on that right-hand side. Giving us a proper threat on that side would be such a difference to this team. It really, really would be. Let me see what I got down below. Lehman is saying, someone tell Big T to frame me. He blocked me because I criticized him for being a Radcliffe fan. I don't know if he's actually blocked either. Malp says Hojlund is young. He'll improve 100% and get better. Yeah, look, I have no concerns. It's like I said, look, if Hojlund was not involved in matches, looked way off the pace, if he looked like a player who wasn't getting close to scoring goals, I would be concerned. But there's been already 3 or 4 times this season where he's been making these runs across the goal and he's been maybe 2 to 3 inches from making connection with the ball and getting a tap in. The goals will come at that rate. He won't always be an inch off the ball sliding in. So I've no concerns about Rasmus Hojlund. I do have concerns about Marcus Rashford. I have concerns about Anthony. I think we expected a lot more from Anthony as well. I really, really do. But so far, we just haven't seen it. Interestingly enough, as well, something to look at is Ajax as well. Some people making the point that maybe Erik Ten Hag is a good manager because Ajax are currently sitting a point off relegation zone in the Eredivisie. They've sacked their manager today. Just a quick announcement as well on Sir Bobby Charlton and a commemoration going to be planned for tomorrow. Manchester United fans are planning to celebrate the life of Sir Bobby Charlton, who sadly passed away on Saturday morning. Following days of discussion with the Charlton family, Manchester United have announced their plans ahead of the Champions League match against Copenhagen on Tuesday night. United will honour and remember Charlton. There will be a pre-match tribute, which will conclude with a minute's silence before kick-off. Fans are asked early to pay respect as well. There is also a wreath being laid, flowers and stuff being left at the Trinity statue, and there's a book of condolences for anyone who is in the Manchester area and would like to pay their respects. Feel free to go on ahead so as well. Big T says, it was Hojlund crying about international duty. I know they were at him, but you got to bounce it off, especially in the Prem. Yeah, look, he was targeted. He was targeted. I get it as well. Look, he's a young guy. He's only 20 years old. I think what he was annoyed about was he came in with a back injury, and his back was targeted by San Marino players. Do you have to just grow up and get on with it? Yeah, you probably do. I've no concern about that. We've seen young players complain about things many times before. Leman says, let's hope Spurs win the league, and then the other four. Yeah, I mean, Spurs are definitely doing well this season. I think the big thing with Spurs, a lot of people are asking why can Ange Postecoglou bring in this brilliant style of football and win a lot of matches with Tottenham when Erik Ten Hag hasn't been able to do it at Manchester United. On one hand, yes, we definitely do have to look at questionable decisions by Erik Ten Hag, but I think we've got to look at the players as well. I think the players at Spurs, for the most part, compared to their Manchester United counterparts, are much more hardworking players, much more honest players who will show up with less egos and will run their socks off. And their signings in the summer really reflected that. I think that's something United got to bring bits of in as well. Do I think we should be signing Spurs level players? No. But do I think United can go out by these young players who'll come in with points to prove, who'll want to work hard for this team? Absolutely. I think Sancho might be one of those outliers who hopefully we're not going to have too many signings like that. For anyone who has missed the news somehow this week, it looks like Sancho will be sold, so I'm pretty happy with that one. Rajat's going to watch the Tottenham match later as well. Yeah, look, one to watch out for. I think they're playing Fulham tonight, so that'll be an interesting one. Match is just kicking off there as well, so yeah, it's about 15 minutes in, 0-0 at the moment. So I'm positive Spurs will win that match as well. Big T says the players want to play for Ange, our players don't want to play for Erik, as clear as day. Yeah, absolutely. That's the difference. And I think it'll be really easy to say that's a Ten Hag problem. And maybe it is. But I think we've seen the same group of players let a lot of managers down. We really have, from not playing at all for Ralph Rangnick last year from day one, from letting down Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in spectacular fashion to letting down Jose Mourinho in spectacular fashion to Van Gaal as well. Did those managers make mistakes? Yeah, absolutely they did. But these players, a lot of them are quitters, and we know this for a fact as well. But yeah, look, Spurs are an interesting side to watch, playing really, really good football, far better than what you'll see at Manchester United. Interestingly enough, we're going to see tomorrow, Copenhagen have a couple of injuries, so that's probably good news for Manchester United. Not that we should need good news to be beating Copenhagen. I guess, look, anyone could turn up to the Allianz Arena and get beat, but really in this group at the minute, we should have beat Galatasaray in that last match, and hopefully we will beat Copenhagen tomorrow. But look, we've got it all to do in the Champions League. We should be beating Copenhagen home and away, but we still then have to go to Galatasaray or beat Bayern Munich at home at least in order to go through. Those are big asks. We might be going into Europa League at this moment in time. Let me see who we got down below. Rajat says team doesn't need to hope for Harry Kane to step up. Yeah, look, maybe that's something that Spurs as a team are really realizing as well, is that without, you probably do get this in football, a subconscious reliance on the big men. You definitely do get that. Not that the likes of Heung-min Son were bad players, but you definitely get that. I think even if we watched Ronaldo in his last year at Manchester United, I think a lot of the times the players were looking for Ronaldo when the ball wasn't on. I think that maybe hindered the attack somewhat. Not that Ronaldo wasn't brilliant that year, because he was. He scored 24, 25 goals, but I do think there's a subconscious, yeah, let's just give it to the better player and see what he can do with it. I think at Spurs have probably got away with that. They're more of a cohesive team now. Big T says it's definitely the players, but the board won't change the players. They'll have to find a manager that will please the players. Sad but true. I pray Jim throws some players out. Yeah, look, that's got to be the big hope. I think Radcliffe coming in probably makes the biggest difference at a board level that we've had since the Glazers took charge. I think giving someone else some control over the footballing side, where effective sporting control, as Jim is looking, I think that makes a difference to Manchester United. And I think bringing guys in like Paul Mitchell will help to bring the right attitudes of players in. Guys like that have these connections in football. I hope that can make a big difference. I hope that we can breed a culture of competitiveness in this squad, that the players who are not good enough will be moved on. That's what I think we've got to hope for. So I don't want to see Manchester United going in with £300,000 contracts for any player, because we're pretty much stuck with Jadon Sancho at this point. Even if we want to sell him, we have a very limited pool of players, or of teams who would be able to afford that. The 75 million as well, massively overpaid for Sancho, of course, but it's coming down to those wages. It's why we couldn't move Maguire on in summer. It's why we couldn't move Scott McTominay on. It's why Donny van de Beek didn't leave the club. It's why no one's going in for Anthony Martial. So I think wages are a big one as well. That's got to be something Radcliffe's got to be working on, is if something goes wrong, we don't want to get stuck with the wrong players. And with the FFP rules, we got to move these players on somehow. Otherwise, we're always going to be capped. So there's means and ways we can do it, but I think signing the right type of player is going to be so important. I don't back the likes of Murtagh and Arnold to do it. I back Paul Mitchell to do it far more. I think that makes such a difference to this team. Big T says Kane was always holding Son back. We've seen it now. Kane has left. Yeah, look, it was kind of one of those things. It's like he was always kind of the bridesmaid to Harry Kane. Rashad is saying at Tottenham the players are willing to adapt. He is a new coach. Irfan says Sancho Saudi, here we go. I think that's one of the most realistic things we can see for Sancho. Other than that, I guess, look, the Chelsea move was talked about during the summer. I'm not sure if that was ever going to happen, really, but the way Todd Bowley goes. Big T says Spurs are versatile, our players are one-trick ponies. Yeah, look, we do have too many one-trick ponies. Rashford and Anthony, both on those left and right-hand sides, very one-trick pony-ish. I think Bruno Fernandes playing miles below himself. Some of the passes the guy's trying is just not working at all. So look, I would like to see changes for tomorrow. If I was Erik Ten Hag, this is how I would line us up. I think I would go for Onana. I think I would be stunned if we see Altay and Darien. I think Delo will play. Wan-Bissaka is not available. I would like to see Varane and Harry Maguire at centre back. And I think left back, bring Reguilon back in. I think number 6, put in Amrabat. I seen some people questioning Amrabat as well at the weekend. I think he had a pretty good match, all things considered. A good retention of the ball, a lot of forward passes. Nearly broke the crossbar at Bramall Lane, but I would put Amrabat in there. I'm going to go brave in this one, and I'm going to go for Hannibal, and I'm going to go for Mount. I said drop Bruno for a match. It won't be the end of the world. Put Hojlund up front, put Garnacho on the left-hand side, put Hojlund in the middle, of course. And then on the right, you've got questions. Do you put Bruno there? Do you maybe put Rashford there and force him to cross? Do you play Anthony again? I don't know. I wouldn't mind seeing some Facundo Pellistri on that side. I think that could be an interesting one for sure. That's what I would like to see. Do I think we're going to get it? No, probably not. There's question marks. Do you play Maguire? Do you play Johnny Evans? Obviously, the Harry Maguire win percentage is something talked about a lot as well. But Johnny Evans has won every match he's played this year. Rajad says, not sure Reguilon will play full 90. Could be players need to step up. to reach Bruno's level. It might be elements of that as well. But look, I would say put Reguilon on and keep him there. If we can get 60 minutes out of him, I think that's good as well. I think it's probably more important to have a left back against City than it is against Copenhagen, but I don't want to see Victor Lindelof at left back either. Big T says Casemiro has created more big chances than Bruno, and many have written Casemiro off. Bruno needs to step up, especially now he's captain. Yeah, he does. He does. 100% he does. Then Casemiro is another player who needs to step up. I'm not questioning the goal output. I'm not questioning the chance output, but I think the fundamentals of his job, he hasn't been doing all too well this season. There's probably a lot of factors behind that. He was poor for Brazil over the international break. He was pretty poor for the start of the season as well. I don't know if he's trying to do too much, if he's trying to put creative responsibilities on top of his role and he's getting caught out, but I think we would look better if he just played simply, played those short passes, and made sure he was defensively sound enough. So, be further back the pitch and stop those cutbacks, because we've conceded so many cutbacks as well this year. Rajat says preferable to start Delo at left back. Yeah, but then who's the question to start at right back? Do we put Lindelof there? I don't know. I'm not quite sure what we would do in that scenario. Maybe we could play a three at the back, but then we probably don't have anyone on the left who's going to work hard enough either. So decisions. That's why we said Ten Hag's got big decisions to make. The man definitely has calls to make. Big T says Reguilon is great in attack, but he does leave space at the back. Hopefully Amrabat can cover. Yeah, I think he will. I think the centre backs are an issue as well. I don't think either are particularly comfortable covering the wide areas. I think Varane's probably better at it, but we do miss Martinez. Martinez is very good at covering that left-hand side as well. Really important to how we like to play out of the back. So definitely a big miss, Lisandro Martinez. Hopefully he gets back, I don't know, maybe at the new year, heading into January kind of time. But again, if we handle that injury better, we wouldn't be out right now either. So things to learn from Manchester United for sure. Hopefully this new club doctor is going to make a difference. Rashad said Lindelof used to play right back. Not sure how often at Benfica. Look, we've seen bits of Victor Lindelof at right back. I've never been overly impressed, but I guess it might be a needs must kind of scenario. I'm not 100% sure. I did see someone saying maybe you could play Facundo Pellistri at like a right wing back kind of role. I don't know. He would hold the width and he would get up and down the pitch. Maybe that's something we could try out. But it's not ideal scenarios. Hopefully we get Wan-Bissaka back soon, or Luke Shaw or Malacia. Not too much talk on Luke Shaw at the minute. Wan-Bissaka is getting closer, I believe, and of course Malacia he's back training on grass now. So maybe after the next international break, we'll see Tyrell Malacia back, and at least then we have more bodies to cover that kind of area. But yeah, look, it's gonna be an interesting couple of weeks. This is a big week for Manchester United, despite the fact it was a bad performance. It was a win on Saturday, so that's 1 out of 3. We have to win tomorrow to have any hope in the Champions League, and then we have to go out and put a real shift in if we want to get anything out of the Manchester derby on Sunday. Look, we might have to turn up and play a 10 out of 10 work rate wise to not get smashed. Like, that is the reality of it for Manchester United at the minute. But I guess we'll find out where we stand with all that, guys. Thanks so much for watching. That's just pretty much through everything. So gonna leave the stream here now. My voice is slowly but surely dying, so thanks so much for watching, guys, and make sure to tune in tomorrow for the watch along against Copenhagen. Looking forward to it. We'll catch all you guys then. Thanks so much for watching.